Thanks for joining us for our mini podcast series titled SoundBytes. My name is Elizabeth Daly, and I am the Executive Director of the National Foundation of Swallowing Disorders, which is a patient advocacy nonprofit dedicated to improving the quality of life for all those impacted by swallowing disorders. To start off Dysphagia Awareness Month, we have the honor of speaking with Ed Steger, President of the National Foundation of Swallowing Disorders. Welcome, Ed. As a nearly 20-year survivor of head and neck cancer with severe dysphagia and as the president of the NFOSD, you have significant contact with people living with dysphagia. What do you hear from them about their swallowing disorder challenges?
By the time someone reaches out to us, many times they have exhausted their own search for assessment, rehabilitation, or support. They are frustrated and have shared a few common themes, which include, my therapist has given up on me and has said this is as good as it is ever going to get. Another repeated theme is her provider has indicated this swallowing disorder is all in your head.
That's incredibly disheartening and sounds very challenging. What do you think makes a swallowing disorder different than other maladies?
What makes this different is that it is so impactful to our social and nutritional needs, yet it is an invisible disorder. And I don't like to make comparisons between swallowing disorders and other medical conditions, as my intent is not to imply one condition is worse than another. But let's compare someone who is in a wheelchair, who is paralyzed from the waist down, with someone who has dysphagia. One would never ask the person in the wheelchair to walk up a set of steps. With a swallowing disorder, people forget. It's kind of like out of sight, out of mind. And they ask those impacted to join them in activities that clearly settle around meals.
I think that's a great comparison that will resonate, Ed, with our community. The impact of dysphagia on individuals is clear, but what about its impact on society as a whole?
The foundation provided seed funding to a study published in 2018 titled Economic and Survival Burden of Dysphagia Among Inpatients in the U.S. One can find this study on PubMed. It compared the cost burden for those with and those without dysphagia and found that in adults 45 years old and up, that the U.S. was spending $4 to $7 billion annually in direct healthcare costs. That's a huge number.
Wow. 4 to 7 billion with a B.
That is correct, with a B.
Wow. That's an alarming statistic. And Ed, before we conclude, can you leave us with any words of hope for those facing dysphagia?
When I look back over changes in the provider environment over the past decade, there's a large difference. There's higher awareness, more educational programs, support resources, and clinics incorporating dysphagia assessment and rehab. And there's also research that is continuing to push the envelope on addressing this life-changing disorder. For that, I'm thankful and encouraged.
Thank you, Ed, for sharing that. And I know a lot of dysphagia resources and the increased awareness comes from your leadership with this organization. So thank you for the work that you have been doing and for sharing your insights today. It's been an enlightening conversation.
It's my pleasure. And Thank you for the opportunity to share.